What's up, Fit Body family? I'm Diana Coulian, the recipe hacker, and I'm coming to you live from the Fit Body Bootcamp World Headquarters here in Chino Hills, California. I have a special guest with me today. It's not the guest you were expecting. We were expecting to have Matt Wilbur, who is going to be here from Michigan, but as you guys know, things are changing rapidly. This is just an unprecedented time with what is happening with the coronavirus. And so Matt is at home in Michigan, where he should be. And I have with me my 12-year-old daughter, Chloe. Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
So probably like your kids, Chloe is doing online school. Tell us how that's going.
It's kind of hard without the teachers, but you get hungry really fast.
Well, and I'm sure you're making yourself food. Your brother is at home. You're making him food. So how many days have you been on online schooling?
4.
4 days so far on online schooling. And for us, we don't know what's going to happen, guys. But for us, they say through April 6th. But again, this whole situation is developing. And guys, here at Fit Body Bootcamp, you know that we have made the recommendation from HQ that our locations close for the time being to suspend their in-person sessions. And guys, we're so blessed that we were able to quickly pivot to giving you guys workouts online. So there's no reason at all that you need to skip your 30-minute fat-burning workout every single day. Chloe and I have been doing them as well. We get the videos and we're doing it at home. And guys, it's all body weight. It's actually really fun. And in this time of quarantine, it is more important than ever that we stay fit, that we keep eating healthy foods, and that we just keep a positive mindset, guys, because we will get through this. And our new hashtag for the time being is hashtag FBBCstrong. And guys, that's so important that we all stay strong together, we stay positive, and that we just continue to lift each other up. So on that note, we are going to give away 2 things. Oh, that's an awesome thing to give away. We are going to give away this red, just bold Fit Body Bootcamp sweatshirt, and we have 2 winners this week. And guys, these 2 very special people used our hashtag FBBCstrong, and they are working out at home. So the first winner is Carrie Lynn Seville, and she is from Auburn Bay Fit Body Bootcamp in Canada, up in Calgary. So Carrie Lynn, she has made a home gym, and she's doing her Fit Body Bootcamp home workouts early in the morning. That is such a cool thing to do, and that's what I'm gonna start doing, is just doing my normal workout time to the video at home. Carrie says she's not a homebody, but she knows that what she has to do to flatten the curve and to keep her family safe. And guys, that's really what it's all about, right? It's all about us coming together as just a community in doing what we need to do to flatten the curve so that we can just move past this, right, guys, and get back to life as we know it. But we've got some time that we're gonna need to spend, at home and social distancing ourselves from other people, and just to get through this time. So Carrie Lynn, thank you so much for sharing. Keep up those workouts. That's awesome. We are sending you this beautiful red sweatshirt, and I'm sure up in Calgary, it gets nice and cold. It's probably cold now, so you can use that. And we have one more winner for the week. Chloe, you want to announce it?
Hannah Leventhal from Blacksburg Fit Body Bootcamp in Virginia.
That's awesome. It says that Hannah has been crushing her 5 a.m. workouts, and she is refusing to let anything get between her and her goals. So great job, Hannah. You are also getting this awesome red sweatshirt. So we will be sending that to you. Thank you, Chloe. And guys, just to bring a little levity to this situation, a lot of you are stuck at home, and really that's our duty right now, is to do this social distancing to help flatten the curve. But staying at home, like Chloe said, we have more access to food, guys, and we're not going out of our house and doing our normal routine to drive to boot camp and to get in that workout. So this time frame, however long it's going to be, right now we think it's going to be 2 weeks, but however long it's going to be, we need to establish a new routine, an at-home routine, where you're still getting those workouts and you're getting your nutrition and just keeping yourself positive. So I saw a meme the other day that I have to share with you because this is funny, guys. This is Barbie before the quarantine, and then Barbie after the quarantine. And this is just to bring a little bit of levity, but guys, it really is true that, you know, the stress of this situation and the uncertainty and the break in our routine, it's almost like you're at this divider in the road, and you're either going to go down the path of like, I'm going to emotionally eat and I'm not going to work out because, you know, this whole situation is just going to take precedence in my life and it's going to lead to some weight gain. And we just got off the challenge and we're all feeling so good. So you could go down this route and, you know, have negativity come in and gain some weight back, or, which is what I'm going to do, and I hope you do, you can take this time where we are at home more and we have less running around to do, to take this path and say, I am going to just buckle down. I'm going to do my workouts. Even I'm going to do doubles because we have our at-home workout from our Fit Body locations. I'm going to do doubles at home because I have this extra time, and I'm going to just dial in my nutrition because, again, I'm here at home and I can control it. So, guys, we're at this time. I am here for you. I know that all of your coaches at Fit Body Bootcamp are here for you to really, even though maybe we're not seeing you in person, but we are all together, and you can come together on this Facebook page, come together on your location's Facebook page, and really stay plugged in, stay part of the community. All right, we have some fun recipes to make because you're at home, we're at home, we are going to be making this stuff. There's two very different types of recipes we're doing. One of them is cookies. So, Chloe, can you tell them the story of where did these cookies come from?
Okay, so one day we were getting food and we come across this little cookie stand.
Yes, the cutest little girls.
And they have a whole bunch of cookies set up.
Yeah.
And she's like, why don't we get some for, you know,
to support the children.
Yeah. And so we ended up getting 4 boxes.
For the boys at home.
And they ate it all.
They did, except for these ones. And really, guys, you know, you come across a cute little girl. She's set up with her like cookie stand. And then I saw the mom, and I know her mom from boot camp. And so you're like, okay, I've got to buy some cookies. Like, let's do the right thing here. But this is not the type of things that I normally keep in the house, right? So the kids obviously liked them because they are delicious and they're sweet. And this particular one, I had never had this before, but it has like a crisp, I know they're pretty famous. I think a lot of people have had them, but there's like a crispy cookie in the middle. And then there's this coconut, like toasted coconut, caramel, and then dark chocolate. So it is a very, and there's like, you know, a little bit of saltiness to it as well. So there's a lot of really good flavors happening here. And of course, I thought I could make this so much healthier. So Chloe has been my taste tester, and this is what it looks like when you make it with all healthy, wholesome ingredients. I personally think that these taste a lot better than the Girl Scout cookies. Sorry, cute Girl Scouts out there. What do you think?
I personally would way rather have these because they're healthier and they taste better.
They really taste good. And guys, we talk about this all the time, but the ingredients that you use to make something, whether it be a cookie or whether it be a casserole for dinner or a stir fry, the ingredients, the quality of the ingredients that you put in, it makes a huge difference in the taste. And so, you know, what we like about cookies when we get, you know, one of these sweet processed cookies, we like the sweet flavor. There's like that crunchiness and then that salty. So it's like you're hitting these, you know, these trigger points in your taste buds. But what's so cool is that you can do all of that with wholesome ingredients. And it's actually quite fun to make. So we are going to get into this. They're called Samoas. And then the total other end of the spectrum is a really healthy broccoli soup. Now, do you remember when I made this soup when you were like 5?
I think I do.
Yes. I remember being in awe of how that you were 5 years old and she was just like wanted more and more and more of this roasted broccoli soup, which, guys, it's super high in fiber. And what's cool, you know, I know a lot of you are stuck at home and you're probably packing your freezer with frozen vegetables and frozen fruits because, you know, if we're not having access to the grocery store every day, we have to make some modifications. And if that means that you are using some frozen food, or maybe you just have easier access to frozen vegetables, we are actually using these frozen vegetables to make our soup. So really, all of these ingredients that are going into the soup are things that you should have on hand, and they're things that will last you a long time. So, guys, we are going to start with the soup. We're going to bust out the soup, and then we are going to make some cookies. But guys, we want to hear from you. Let us know how you're doing. Are you at home? Like, have you stocked up your kitchen with wholesome ingredients, and you're buckling down for the next couple of weeks, and you're thinking, like, what am I gonna make? You know? So talk to us. Let us know how you're doing. Maybe your kids are at home as well, like Chloe. But we want to hear from you. We are here to hang out and make these recipes with you. Okay, so we're gonna get right into the soup. And there's a secret ingredient in this soup. And I think it's the reason that the soup tastes so good. So I actually made this soup earlier, and I put it in these cool little jars, which is something that you can do and stick them in your fridge and have them. They're portable, but you're probably at home, so you don't really need it to be portable. But I just thought this was a cool way to carry the soup with you. The amazing secret and most important ingredient in this soup is an entire head of garlic. So guys, what we're gonna do first, hopefully you've got one of these kicking around your fridge or in your pantry or something, because these things last forever. Like, even if you find one that's sprouted a little bit, totally fine. We're gonna cut the little sprouts off and we're gonna use it. So guys, the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna set your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are going to cut the top of this head of garlic off. So just like this, we're cutting it off, and so you can see that a lot of just the insides of the garlic is exposed there. Smell that. Woo! Yes, it's quite strong. Okay, so now Chloe is gonna show us. Chloe, we just need to wrap this entire headless head of garlic, or topless head of garlic, in foil, nice and tight. You don't have to do it any certain way, as long as it's really nicely squished together. Exactly, squishing it up. Perfect. So guys, this you would just put in your oven. Your oven is on at 400 degrees, and you're gonna stick this in there for an hour. Now, I did this last night. Do you remember how the house smelled?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
Roasting garlic. Did you think that was a good smell?
It wasn't that bad.
I personally think that roasting garlic is one of the most delicious smells. It's such a simple thing. Like, all we did was cover this in foil, but then it just fills the house with this just yummy, like, savory smell. That sounds like it smells like you cooked something really cool, but you're just roasting garlic. Okay, guys, so an hour in the oven at 400 degrees, and this is what it's gonna look like after. So Chloe's gonna unwrap that for us. And guys, this is a vegetarian soup that we're making, although we are going to be adding protein by using bone broth, which this container of bone broth has 40 grams of protein, which is pretty cool. Okay, so you guys can see that the insides of the garlic are completely tender. It almost looks a little caramelized on the top, and then the skin of the garlic is still really tough. So what's cool is we are going to squeeze it all out. So Chloe is actually, when we get to that stage in the recipe, Chloe's gonna be the garlic squeezer. So you keep that. Okay, guys, so the next big ingredient is obviously our broccoli. And what I did is I used 2 bags of frozen broccoli and cauliflower. And guys, if you have fresh broccoli or fresh cauliflower, use about 2 pounds of the fresh stuff. We're gonna stick it on a pan. If you're using the frozen, put the oven to 450 degrees, which sounds super, super hot, and it is super hot, but it's important to take something that's been frozen and that could get kind of mushy, to stick it in at a really high temperature so that we can actually make it like a roasted, fresh vegetable. So that's what we did here, guys. We roasted this at 400 degrees for about 18 minutes. And it came out very beautiful. Okay, so we have our soup pot. I love this recipe because it is so quick, and you guys are gonna see. So I just turned the heat on to about medium. We are gonna put our whole container, so this is 32 ounces, I think. It says 1 quart, 32 fluid ounces of broth. And I said, I'm using the bone broth because of the protein. There's a lot of benefit. I know that Ellen has gone into a lot of the benefits of bone broth because there are quite a few. One of them being that it's really high in protein. So if you're vegetarian, guys, use veggie broth, or really at this point, whatever you have at home as far as broth goes, use that. Okay, do you want to pour this into our soup pot?
Okay, while you're pouring that, we
Yes.
have a lot of people chiming in saying
awesome.
that they're staying at home, but
Yes.
one person in particular, Michaela Lewis,
Hey, Michaela.
she is from Gilbert Fit Body Boot Camp in Gilbert, Arizona.
Awesome.
She said that she's at home with her kids and they're just staying active in the
Yes.
house, staying in their backyard, taking walks around the neighborhood and controlling what they can,
Yes.
and just letting go of what they can't,
Yeah.
and loving the new online platform for Fit Body
Awesome.
Boot Camp workouts.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And you know what? You mentioned your kids. So my cousin lives in San Clemente, and they are, quarantined right now. And she's got 3 little ones at home. And I've been sending her the Fit Body workout every day, which is body weight. She's like, I have my kids doing it with me every day. And not only is that great to, have your kids be active, but, they can get out some of that energy. They're stuck at home and they're not doing their normal routine where they're with the other kids at school and running around at recess. So if you can, depending on, the age of your kids, do the Fit Body workout with them at home. That's such a fun idea. Chloe's already done one with me, and we are going to do one tonight when we get home. So yeah, it's awesome, guys. Like you said, we are going to control what we can, and we can control if we work out every day. We can control what we put in our mouths for our food, and we can control our thoughts and being positive and just seeing the fun in it. Because when else would you be home with your kids for a couple of weeks? We can have some fun with this while we're being safe, and then cope with what we can't control, because we cannot control the news. We cannot control what is happening in the world today. And some of these things are scary, but you know what? We will cope with it. We will be FBBC strong, and we'll just keep our thoughts positive and on track. Okay, we have put our bone broth into the soup pot. Chloe is going to squeeze our head of garlic. And you guys remember this was in the oven, just bunched up with foil with the little tips cut off. You can take the foil off if you want. Or are you trying to keep your fingers clean? She's trying to keep her fingers from smelling like mine. Okay, so it got really soft and mushy in the oven at 400 degrees for 1 full hour. And so she's squeezing it.
Oh, these are supposed to come out?
Yeah. Okay, so you guys see how it's starting to squish out? That stuff has so much flavor, as you can imagine, and that is what's going to give this broccoli and cauliflower soup this really delicious flavor. Good job, Chloe. All right, if we need to use a spoon to kind of help it along, I always just use my fingers. She's being very careful. She is very clean and organized, way more than me. All right. And try to get out as much of that mushy, soft garlic as you can, because that is the flavor. And we want as much flavor as we can get into this soup. Good job, Chloe. Do you want to try to scrape any more, or you feel like you got it all?
We'll try.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys, so this is going into the pot with the bone broth. And again, use whatever broth you want. Now, the next thing that's going to go into the pot is all of our roasted broccoli or broccoli and cauliflower. And guys, you can, I obviously roasted this earlier, so it's not hot anymore, but fire it in right from the oven if you're doing this all together. Good job, Chloe. Okay, I might need some help getting these in. We'll see if they stick to our foil. So we are dumping in all of our roasted broccoli and cauliflower into the broth. Oh, that actually worked out pretty well. Guys, this is why you want to coat your pans with either foil or parchment paper, because where you see little pieces stuck, that would be like a long time scrubbing the pan. Chloe does dishes a lot at home. So Chloe would be the one scrubbing the pan. So you're welcome. Okay, guys, so we have our broccoli and our cauliflower in the pot. we are gonna generously salt and pepper, which I'm gonna let Chloe do. So we're just gonna generously crack some salt and some pepper in here because again, if it's not generously salted, it is not gonna have the flavor that we want. Perfect. You can do the other one. Okay guys, and now the other ingredient, and this is how I am really trying to increase the protein in, a veggie soup that's full of fiber. There's no meat. Like, how do we add a little bit more protein? So this is unsweetened, plain Greek yogurt. This has, just in this, it's 3/4 of a cup. It has 16 grams of protein. So you can see with the 40 grams of protein with the bone broth, the 16 grams of protein with this yogurt, not only is this gonna give it a nice creaminess, but it is also just giving us more of that muscle supporting protein. Okay, Chloe, I'm gonna let you do that. Plop that in. Now our bone broth is starting to simmer just a little bit, but we have all of the ingredients for the soup already in the pot. The final step is to blend it up. And this is the fun part. So we have an immersion blender here, which I'm gonna show you how to do. Guys, if you don't have an immersion blender, hopefully you have a food processor, because you know how awesome those are. You can transfer all of these ingredients, all of it, just dump it into your food processor and blend it in there. You could stick it all in your high-speed blender. There's a lot of options, but I personally, whenever I'm gonna make a soup and I have to blend it all up, I like to do the immersion blender because you don't have to transfer everything out of the pot. As you can see, here I wanna trade places here. Actually, you'd probably like to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give you a try. Okay guys, so I am going to turn the heat off. And what we're gonna do here is, this is actually quite fun. Hopefully I won't make a mess, but we are just gonna stick it in and turn it on. Usually we use this for our protein shakes in the morning, so I made sure to clean it really good so there wasn't any peanut butter on it. All right guys, so the idea is we are gonna blend it until it is fairly smooth. You're still gonna have obviously little pieces of broccoli. So, and it's really personal preference. Like, you need everything to get incorporated. You really need that creamy garlic to be pureed and mixed throughout the whole thing. But if you want a few pieces of broccoli left, you certainly can, just depending on how you like your soup. But I'm gonna blend mine pretty smoothly because I want it just all incorporated. So guys, that is how easy it is to make this really delicious roasted broccoli soup. I am definitely gonna have Chloe try it because she hasn't had this soup for quite a while. And guys, at this point, I would say taste your soup. You can see how nice it is now. Taste your soup to see if you need more salt and pepper. All right, I'm gonna do a little salt and pepper on the top because whenever I serve anything, I always do that. And guys, you can let your soup simmer for a little bit just to help the flavors incorporate a little bit more. Let's see, where did our little, here, I'll give you the yogurt spoon. I actually like to garnish this soup with a little bit more yogurt. And if you look at the picture online, I toasted and chopped up some pecans, just plain pecans with no salt, to put on top. Because a lot of times places will serve soups like this with croutons or some other little crunchy things on top. Is it too hot? Okay, she's gonna take her time with that. All right guys, so there you have it. That is just a quick and easy soup. If you have fresh broccoli and cauliflower at home, use the fresh stuff. If not, guys, if you're stocking up on that frozen veggies, use the frozen veggies. It's a great way to turn it into something that's really comforting. Just, you know, the taste of soup when it's got some really good flavors is a very comforting thing. So that is that. You can see how easy that was. Okay, guys, we are gonna move into our Girl Scout cookie segment of this video. So again, this is what we're making. They're healthy Samoas. There's really 3 parts to it. There's the cookie itself, which is what everything is built on. There's caramel, and guys, you know we're making healthy caramel. And then there's this dark chocolate. And I always use the stevia sweetened Lily's chocolate so that we're not adding any extra sugar to it, but we're getting that really delicious chocolate flavor. And all three of these components go together to make this really fun cookie. And guys, you know, as you'll see as we get into the recipe, you know, doing the little cutout in the center makes it look like a Girl Scout cookie, but it is not something that you have to do. Really, depending on how much time you want to make for this project of making these healthy cookies, you know, if the kids are at home, maybe you're going to get them involved so they can help you with it. But if you don't want to take that extra step to make the circle, you just want to, like, you know, have it be a little bit quicker of a process, then you certainly don't have to do it. But that's what we're going to do here. Okay, guys, have you tasted it yet?
Not yet.
We got a honest reaction. Does it need more salt? Do you remember why you loved this soup so much when you were 5 years old?
I do.
Yeah? What do you think?
It's really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She's excited, guys. She loves the soup.
I'm surprised the yogurt worked. I didn't expect that. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Yeah.
So in the past, I've used coconut cream back when I was using way less dairy. Now I'm really incorporating that Greek yogurt into our diet, and we're really loving it. So yeah, it adds creaminess and protein, like we said. Well, okay, guys, it passed the kid test. She's happy. All right, guys, let's move on to this cookie recipe. And I'm definitely going to need some Chloe help here. All right, so first step, like I said, is the actual cookie itself. And, you know, each of the components of this cookie recipe could be made on their own. Like the actual cookie part that we're making, you could just make it that way. You know what I mean? You don't have to add the coconut or the caramel and the chocolate, but you certainly can. Okay, so ingredients. The first ingredient is 2 cups of unsweetened shredded coconut. Guys, it doesn't get much healthier than this. Like if you really think, oh, you know what? What is the top ingredient of the recipe that we're hacking, which is these Girl Scouts Samoas? What is the first ingredient, which means there's the most of this?
Sugar.
Oh, sugar. So for us, the most of the ingredient that we have the most of, unsweetened shredded coconut, which there's a ton of health benefits to this. And it's just pretty cool, guys, when you can make something that tastes as good as these cookies, but the ingredients are so wholesome. Okay, so that was 2 cups of the unsweetened shredded coconut, 1/3 a cup of coconut flour. There's a lot of coconut in these cookies. Even like our caramel, I think like almost all the ingredients come from coconuts. Coconuts are so cool. What would we do without coconuts? Okay, 1/2 a cup of almond flour. So you can see that all of our ingredients so far are very wholesome. We have a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Gotta get our daily dose of this yummy sea salt in. Okay, so that is all the dry ingredients. Chloe, I'm gonna let you mix this up. You can use this wonderful thing here. Okay, so Chloe's gonna mix our dry ingredients. Now for our wet ingredients, we are gonna have 2 eggs that we are going to beat. And hopefully you guys have eggs at home. I know not all the stores have eggs right now, at least the ones in our town haven't. You can always do a flax egg replacement. So guys, to do that, if you want to replace eggs in your baking at any time, you're going to take 1 tablespoon of ground up flax meal, and you're going to mix it with 3 tablespoons of water. You're going to mix it up with a fork and just let it sit for a minute. And that is going to replace 1 egg. So you would do 2 of those in this recipe if you don't have any eggs. And that works perfectly fine because that flax really binds together, just like eggs bind things together in baking. All right, going to find a spoon.
Here.
Oh, perfect. We will share the spoon. Okay, so we got 2 eggs here, and we are going to mix it up. You can put it here.
Okay.
All right, so we got our 2 eggs. The next ingredient is going to be 1/2 cup of coconut sugar. Now guys, coconut sugar is one of my favorite ingredients when it comes to doing wholesome desserts. because it is so much lower on the glycemic index. It's actually, you're taking in way less sugar than you would with a refined white sugar product. And while there's a little less sweetness to it, to your palate, you really do quickly adjust to where it tastes good. Okay, guys, we're mixing the coconut sugar in with our eggs. Okay, so we need to add a little bit more flavor. So we are gonna do a teaspoon of vanilla. You wanna do that, Chloe?
Sure.
And then we're gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. This is totally optional. This is just another little layer of flavor. Because guys, making healthy things, it's all about just hitting those right flavor notes without using the refined sugars and the different ingredients that are not good for us. Because it's very possible to do that. That's what we do every week on this show, is make things that taste as good or better than your favorites using way healthier ingredients. All right, so we put a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and now Chloe is gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. Get some yummy flavor. We got a little more than a 1/4 teaspoon, but that's okay because it's just more yummy flavor for us to enjoy.
I saved some.
You saved some there? Okay. I love the smell of almond extract, although it smells like cherries to me. Does it smell like cherries to you at all? It's such a good smell.
Yeah.
Her brother hates cherries though, so we're not allowed to make anything with cherries at home. We don't know why he hates them. Okay, so the last ingredient for the cookie portion of this treat is a 1/2 cup of melted coconut oil. So guys, when you melt your coconut oil, it's going to be warm, and so you always want to let it cool down to pretty close to room temperature when you mix it in with eggs. Because I've had it happen before where I poured hot coconut oil into a mixture with eggs, and then the eggs start to like cook. And that does not work out. So let your coconut oil cool down and then mix it in with your eggs. Okay, so we're gonna mix the wet ingredients in with the dry ones. What's your favorite thing to make?
Like ever?
Ever, like to cook? Which is funny because I hate it when people ask me that question, but I just asked you. So what, because Chloe cooks a lot.
Is it like an actual item or like desserts?
Either or.
Okay.
Give us some favorite things that you like to make.
I really like making cake.
Okay, yes, you're really good at cake.
I try to be a mini hacker.
Yes.
Doesn't always turn out right, but
That's part of it. Part of it is having flops.
yeah. But I have to say, one of my favorite cakes of yours is the chocolate cake from your first cookbook
Oh.
with the chocolate frosting.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like very fudgy and fluffy chocolate frosting. You've made that a few times.
It doesn't taste it doesn't taste tacked, but it is.
Yeah.
It's really good.
This is awesome. Pretty soon she'll be doing all the cooking for us. And I will retire. Okay, guys, so we have our cookie batter here. It looks really like most cookie dough does, which, considering the healthy ingredients that we just used, it's pretty impressive. Okay, so we're just gonna do one pan to show you how to make these cookies with the holes taken out, so we can really copy our Girl Scout friends. And the fun thing is when you like give it to people, and you're like, you know, see if they even notice that it's not a Girl Scout cookie. Okay, so we're gonna make about golf ball sized little balls of dough, so you wanna grab some as well. And guys, when you put them on your baking sheet, we have a piece of parchment paper on the baking sheet because it just makes cleanup so much easier. I mean, once I started, I bought these parchment paper sheets from, not Costco, from Amazon, came directly to my house, and I think it comes in packs of like 500, which you think, how would I ever use all of those? I've actually gone through those packs before and had to order more packs, but it's already like portioned out perfectly to the size of a pan. I also put it in like casserole pans. But anyways, highly recommend getting that because it just makes it so easy. And then less dish time for Chloe, you know, less time for Chloe to be like scraping things off the dish. Okay, so you're gonna flatten the cookie dough and make it into a nice little circle. And guys, these cookies really don't expand or grow much at all when they cook. If you really think about the ingredients that are in here, as opposed to, a traditional cookie where you're gonna have that really fluffy white flour, you're gonna have that really refined white sugar. Those cookies expand a lot. These wholesome ones, the wholesome ingredients are a lot more dense. They're really not gonna expand a lot. They're gonna get golden and they're gonna get cooked through, but they're not gonna really, change in their size very much. So flatten them down to the size that you'd like. And then once we have these on here, I had to get a little creative with how was I gonna take the little middle circle out of the cookies. And so I actually I found this apple corer. So this is a little tool to take the core out of your apple. You probably all have one of these at home. So I ended up using this and it was a perfect little circle that came out. So we're gonna let Chloe work on that as soon as we get a few more flattened here. And guys, once you cook these, so we're gonna cook these at 300 degrees for 20 minutes. We really want them to be pretty golden when we take them out. But then before you move on to the next step of dressing these cookies up with caramel, with coconut, and then dark chocolate, you really need the cookie to cool down. Because guys, our dark chocolate is gonna have coconut oil in that, and that is temperature sensitive. So in order for our chocolate to get nice and hard so we can, have it all stick together, your cookie does need to be nice and cooled down. And then, utilizing the fridge. So when the cookies come out of the oven, they cool down to close to room temperature and you can stick them in the fridge or the freezer to just get them a little more cold so that when you're applying that chocolate, it's gonna harden up right away. It's always a good plan. So what do you miss about school?
My friends and being able to mess around.
Being able to mess around.
Yeah.
When you're at home, you just have to work and be responsible.
Unfortunately.
You will never forget this year of 6th grade where you had to stay home for a few weeks. This is definitely something we will all remember. Okay, would you like to wipe your hands a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so this is gonna make probably 2 cookie sheets worth when you're doing this, but we're just gonna do 1 to show you how to do it. So like I said, we have an apple corer. Now guys, if you don't have an apple corer, but you have something, whether it be like a little cookie cutter or something at home that can help you make a nice little cutout in the center of each of these. There we go, yep. So you're gonna push it down and just sort of twist it and then pull it up. There we go. So you can see now what's gonna happen is from each of these cookies, we're gonna have a little piece of dough. So I always just throw it back into the bowl so you can make more cookies. There we go. Or, you could make little like donut hole cookies if you wanted to, but you would cook it for way less than 20 minutes.
Boom.
Good job. All right. So guys, if the kids are at home, they got nothing to do, this is a great activity to get them involved. Perfect. Yeah, if your circle kind of falls apart once you pull out the center, just squish it back together. There we go. I would clear that. I would take the dough out of there. There we go.
But then I can make tiny little donut holes.
You want to make donut hole cookies?
Oh, see, look. It's like a marshmallow cookie.
All right, guys. So you're gonna have your oven on at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're gonna bake the cookies for 20 minutes. Really just maybe after about 18 minutes, look at it. If they're looking pretty golden, go ahead and take them out. But if they haven't really changed color much, I would leave them in for the full 20 minutes because these, the Girl Scout cookies are crunchy. It's there's crunchy in the middle, and then there's the kind of gooey caramel-y, which I'm excited to get into making the caramel. That's one of my actually favorite recipes that I hacked was making healthy caramel. It's awesome. It's great for dipping apples and things as well, or just adding it to awesome desserts. You're becoming an expert at this.
Takes time and practice to be an expert at this.
Time and practice. Well, we have time. We have time since school is online now. And Chloe got a computer out of the deal because we didn't have computers for the kids at home. So she is now the proud owner of a computer. Okay. Well, all right, I'm gonna move these to the side.
No!
Fine, put it there. Okay, guys, when your cookies are done, they've got nice little holes in them. You're gonna stick it in the oven. Do you wanna pull our other one out? Okay, we have a magic oven today. So after 20 minutes, this is what your cookies are gonna look like. Okay, guys, so you can see, nice and crispy. So they are ready for us to dress them up with some yumminess. Okay, so we are going to take a half a cup of shredded coconut, the same coconut that we used in the cookie dough, we are gonna do on top. You know, really in looking at the Girl Scout one, their coconut looks like a little bit chunkier than ours. So, you know, there's all kinds of different coconut flakes and shredded coconut out there. We actually have coconut chips at home as well, which is in the baking section. If you wanted to try to make it a little chunkier, you can take those and maybe just pulse them in the food processor a couple times. But ours is the really fine stuff. Okay, so we want it to be toasted. You can see the Girl Scout one is very golden. And so I'm just gonna stick it, it's a dry skillet, and I have the temperature on medium. And I'm actually gonna let Chloe just mix it around, and we're gonna let it get a little toasty. Perfect. It's gonna take a few minutes, and you can leave it for a little bit and then mix it and see as it starts to change color. Okay, and then now, my favorite thing to do, we are gonna make some caramel. And guys, I hope you have these ingredients in your pantries at home. These are very standard ingredients for my pantry. Perfect, yes. Okay, first ingredient is a half a cup of coconut sugar. You can dump it right into the skillet. And guys, if you've used my caramel recipe before, you'll notice that this is a half batch of the caramel recipe. Basically because it just has to cover 32 cookies, and we're really not loading them up with that much caramel. So if you're doing it with the half batch like I have it written, just know you're not gonna have a lot of extra caramel. If you love the caramel and you want your cookies to be extra caramely, then just double the ingredients. Okay, so that was half a cup of coconut sugar in a dry skillet. Did we try? Yeah, this one's on medium as well. Now we have 2.5 tablespoons of coconut cream. So you can go ahead and dump that in. And this coconut cream, if you buy a can of coconut milk, the full fat coconut milk, when you open it up, there's gonna be that thick cream at the top. You can also buy a can of coconut cream, which will have even more of that. But that's where it is. You pull it out from the top of the can. Okay, we also have 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Now it is worth noting that the three main ingredients in this caramel recipe all come from coconuts. I mean, coconuts are like wonder food. Really, really awesome. Okay. Now, what do we have? 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So we're gonna let Chloe measure out 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I'm gonna check on our coconut. So again, guys, in this skillet, we just have unsweetened shredded coconut that is over medium heat, and we're just letting it get toasty. It hasn't really changed color yet, so we're gonna let it keep going. And then in our caramel skillet, which is the happiest of all skillets, we have just coconut sugar, coconut oil, and coconut cream. So guys, it looks weird now. I mean, it kind of feels weird to just put a scoop of coconut sugar in a skillet, but it's actually all gonna melt down. So now Chloe's gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and that's gonna add even more liquid here to help it all get real melty. And I'm gonna take my own advice about salt. We're gonna add a little bit of salt too, because you guys know that when you're having something sweet, if you add a little bit of salt, it actually makes it taste sweeter. It makes the sweetness pop. Okay guys, so you can see that now we've got things really starting to melt. That vanilla really helped. And our sugar has kind of reached a point where it wants to melt. Guys, it is so cool that we can make caramel with these healthy ingredients. There's nothing we can't do healthier. All right, guys, so we have this melting, and our goal here is to get it to start kind of simmering. Like we want to see some little bubbles. You know, the first step is getting it all melted and then getting everything mixed together so it's consistent. So you can see like the little pockets of cream, we're mixing them in. But then the next thing you look for is just for the little bubbles to happen. We're not quite there yet with the bubbles. You want to use this to just move our caramel around, or our coconut around a little bit. You can see it's taken a little while. It's still not really turning golden. And guys, as far as how much you really want to toast your coconut, totally up to you. I think it looks pretty and it does bring out a little flavor when you do toast it. Okay, guys, you see we're getting some bubbles? So our caramel is starting to get some little bubbles, but it's still pretty runny. And you guys know when you think of caramel, what do you think of as far as consistency?
Like a stickier syrup?
Stickier, yeah, like a stickier syrup. So that's what we need to do, is we need to, this is almost like physics. Are you doing physics yet?
No.
No. Okay, well, this is almost like food physics. Like we need to take this from being this runny thing to being like a sticky thing. Because really, we're just gonna take little spoonfuls and smear it on our cookies here. So there's something that I almost feel like it's sort of magical. So this here, we have a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So what Chloe's gonna do is she is going to sprinkle the baking soda in the pan, and we're gonna see what it does. You can do all of it at once if you want.
Oh.
We're gonna see what it does to our caramel and how cool this is. Look at the color. And look at the consistency, guys. So this baking soda, just a little pinch of baking soda, has taken our caramel from being really runny and liquidy to being like fluffy and sticky. Look at that, guys. I always love that part. It's like, it's morphing into something different. It is turning into caramel. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so caramel's ready. Let's check on the coconut. How's the coconut doing? You see any change in color?
Not yet.
Okay, the coconut is still perfectly white. It is like fresh snow at this point. So we need to keep, is this on? Oh, don't try this at home, guys. Okay, that doesn't feel like it's on very much. Okay, you know what? We're gonna switch it to this burner. Maybe that will help. Okay, got our caramel over there. Guys, as soon as you do that step with the baking soda for the caramel, it's good to go. Move it off the heat and away. Okay, so now we have it on a more intense burner, so you might need to mix it a little bit more. I think we had a dead burner there. Okay, the final step before we start assembling our amazing cookies is to melt down some chocolate. Chloe is well trained in the art of the Lazy Man double boiler. So guys, I came up with this quite a few years ago because I burned a big pot of chocolate one time in my life. And I buy high quality chocolate. You know, like these Lily's chips are, you know, they're high end product. And I burned a whole pot because I had my saucepan directly on the heat, and it's so easy to burn chocolate. Have you burned chocolate?
Oh, yes.
Really? Do you do the Lazy Man? You do now. So once you've burned chocolate once, and there's no coming back from burnt chocolate. It's not like some things, if you burn part of it, you can like cut it off, or like you can still preserve the rest. Like burnt chocolate, the whole thing all of a sudden tastes like burnt. Like it's not good. So moving forward, I was like, well, I like to be quick in the kitchen, so it has to be something easy. So I started doing this and calling it a Lazy Man's double boiler, because all I did is put a skillet with a little bit of water, and then I put my saucepan in that. So guys, really what we're doing is we are protecting the bottom of this saucepan from direct heat. It's all indirect heat now. So we can be a lot less careful with how long the chocolate's in there. And it's almost impossible to burn chocolate. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, it might be impossible. Have you ever burned chocolate doing this situation?
No.
Okay, what does happen is that the water starts to evaporate, so you might get to the point where there's no longer any water and it becomes more direct heat. But for the most part, melting chocolate down this way with this nice barrier, it's a great way to never burn really nice chocolate. Okay, so we are going to put our Lily's chips. So guys, this is about 3/4 of a cup of Lily's chips. We are putting it into our little saucepan here. And our goal is to melt it down with a little bit of coconut oil. Do you see a little thing of coconut oil? So about a tablespoon of coconut oil, and don't get too concerned with being really exact with the measurement. Okay, I need a metal spoon. Is that one's not metal, is it?
No.
No. Oh, maybe we can. Okay, wipe this one down. Okay, so Chloe mixed in the coconut oil with our Lily's chips. Guys, you don't need to use chips. I mean, if you have any kind of dark chocolate at home, whether it be a Lily's bar, because those are pretty cool, or if you just have unsweetened chocolate, like a baker's bar of unsweetened chocolate, throw that in here with a little bit of coconut oil and then some liquid stevia. It's probably a more cost-effective way to make stevia sweetened melted chocolate. If you have the chips on hand, that works too.
Oh, we got color.
Oh, look at our coconut. Okay, good job checking. I completely forgot about our shredded coconut. All right, good.
Okay, so Jessica Favor
Yes.
or Favor, I hope I'm getting your name correct, from Spring at Fit Body Boot Camp in Texas.
Hi, Jessica.
She and I were talking about our love for cookies and how
Yes.
we have emotional attachments and memories to different types of foods, and it's nice to be able to still have the foods but have a healthy version of the foods.
Right. That's my jam right there. Like, cause like you said, like maybe you grew up having these Girl Scout cookies, selling these Girl Scout cookies, and you know that now, as a part of your healthy lifestyle, like you can't eat cookies that are packed full of refined sugar on any kind of regular basis. But when we change the ingredients and we change the nutritional makeup of the cookie, it still gives you that nostalgic, like good feeling, but it's healthier. And what I like to do is really, I try my best to give my kids this healthy stuff and hope to build the nostalgia around the healthy stuff. What's the worst thing I've ever made? Like the worst recipe you remember me making? I know the audience wants to know because I do make some doozies. I never make them for you guys, but I make it for them sometimes.
So you haven't really had any lately.
I'm getting better, guys.
But I remember when I was like 6, you made some ones that I had to push around
Oh yeah?
instead of actually eat it.
Do you remember what it was?
It had chicken in it, I know that.
Okay. See, guys, you know, they can't all be winners.
But you recently made amazing chicken.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay, guys, so chocolate melted very quickly using our little situation here with the double boiler and the water. You can see our water is starting to boil, and yet that indirect heat has been very gentle on our chocolate. And guys, it is very important to add that coconut oil to the chocolate because as you can see with our cookies here, the chocolate is nice and hard around the cookie. I keep these in the freezer as well to try to keep the temperature low, but it's that coconut oil. Ooh, let's turn this off. Ooh, our shredded coconut is very golden now, but it's that coconut oil that not only helps the cookies stay together, but really just makes the chocolate thin enough to drizzle and respond correctly to the freezer. All right, our chocolate is done. Our coconut is done. The only thing left to do is to assemble, you got that? Yeah. Assemble these cookies. Okay, so I'm gonna put some chocolate in this little bowl, and some of it we are gonna leave in here for some drizzling. Okay, so that is turned off. This one's turned off. Let's give this a little mix. Ooh, yeah, we got a really nice golden color here. Okay, guys, so with our caramel, you need to let the caramel cool down. And this might have actually cooled enough. Oh yeah, you guys can see. Well, I would let this caramel continue to cool so it will get a little stickier. And I'm gonna show you the difference. So this, we just made it. It's been off the heat for a few minutes. I would let it cool more so that you can have a stickier caramel to apply to the cookies. So I made this other, if you wanna grab that. I made this other caramel this morning, and it's been at room temperature, but you can see, okay guys, this is the caramel from this morning. Do you see the difference? This is so much stickier and easier to spread versus this one, which is just still a little bit runny. Like that might kind of fall off the cookies as we're making them. So I didn't put this in the fridge at all. It was just at room temperature. Okay. All right, so we are gonna assemble some cookies here. The first step, is there another spoon? No. All right, we'll take turns. So we're gonna take a little bit of our caramel and we are gonna put it around our cookie. And guys, the amount of caramel depends on your taste. I kind of like a good amount of caramel. And if you're trying to make it really similar to the Girl Scout cookies, those have a decent amount of caramel on there. Okay, so just like that, doesn't have to be super clean because it's gonna get a lot more put on here. There's gonna be chocolate and there's gonna be coconut. Okay, so we're just going around the rim of the cookie and we're spreading this caramel. We don't wanna waste any, so if you got any runoff, put it right back into the container there. Okay, you wanna do a couple, Chloe?
Sure.
All right, so we're covering the cookies with the caramel. And then once it's covered with caramel, we're adding the coconut. So I'm just sprinkling this warm toasted coconut over every part of the cookie that has caramel. And guys, you can press it down with your finger a little bit to really get it stuck in there. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Coconut is nice and warm. Okay guys, so this is what it looks like at this point. We've got sticky caramel on there. We are completely covered with a light dusting of coconut. Good job on that. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit more here. You can see that this is an activity that really can involve the kids. Okay, so once we have the shredded coconut on top of your caramel, the next step is getting the chocolate. So guys, this step can get a little bit messy. I like to put some of the chocolate in a nice shallow little bowl, and then we just dip it in. So we're covering the entire bottom of the cookie, and then I always scrape it against the side because we don't want to lose any of that chocolate. How far you go up the side just depends on your preference. I do like it to come up fairly far. So stick it right back on the parchment paper lined baking sheet. I'm gonna do a couple more here. And guys, once you have your cookies completely dressed up, you're gonna stick them directly into the fridge or into the freezer because all of this stuff is kind of gooey right now. As soon as we get it into a colder temperature, it's all gonna harden up and it's really gonna be a solid cookie like that you don't have to worry about the coconut falling off or it being sticky in any way. Good job. Okay, do you want to take that and drizzle over the top? So the final step is, of course, drizzling chocolate across the top. So we did that one, we need to do this one. Ooh, I like how generous you were with the caramel on this one.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're dipping this cookie here, and then Chloe is gonna drizzle some chocolate across the top. And this is fun, guys.
I could just go like I'm...
Yeah, you just do that. And if you need your chocolate to be, you gotta get some movement. Yeah, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. If you want your chocolate to be a little bit runnier, you add more coconut oil. You just add it in. Good job. This is the fun part. This is where the kitchen can get a little bit messy. But here we go. Beautiful. So from here, guys, you're putting the cookies right into the fridge or into the freezer until they are nicely hardened up and ready for your eating enjoyment. Good job. Wonderful. Perfect. All right, guys, that's it. Everything you need to fill a very fun afternoon at home with the kids, making these healthy cookies, and giving the Girl Scouts a run for their money. All right, guys, if you haven't already started doing your at-home Fit Body Bootcamp workouts, guys, they are coming. Contact your local Fit Body Bootcamp. So if you're a member of Fit Body Bootcamp, you already have access to your daily Fit Body workout. If you're not a member of Fit Body Bootcamp, visit fitbodybootcamp.com or reach out to your local Fit Body Bootcamp. And guys, we want to pull you into our 28-day Stronger Together at Home Challenge. This is a way for us to really come together while we're socially apart and we are in our own homes. We're all working together for the same mission, which is to stay strong in this time, to keep our workouts going, to really just stay on your health and fitness, monitor what you eat, and keep your thoughts really positive. So guys, hashtag FBBC Strong. Please hashtag us all week. I will be back next week, whether it is from my home or from this studio. I will come to you with another wholesome recipe that you can enjoy at home with the kids. And I would just love to hear how you're enjoying your at-home workouts and really what you are doing to stay FBBC strong in this time. So thank you guys. We will see you next week and stay FBBC strong.